Okay, our today's lesson is about latitudes and longitudes. These latitudes and longitudes are imaginary lines. Latitudes and longitudes are imaginary lines. What do we mean by imaginary lines? You can't tell us. What does it mean? When we say they are imaginary lines, what does it mean?
They don't really exist.
They are?
They don't really exist.
They doesn't exist in the ground. We cannot find them in the ground. Rather, we imagine them and we only get these lines on the globes, and maps. On the globes and maps. So, latitudes and longitudes are very important. They help us to reach wherever we want. We will be using these two coordinates. So, latitudes and longitudes are very important. Who can tell us what latitudes are? Latitudes. What are latitudes? Latitudes. What are latitudes? Edna?
I think latitudes are the lines that are sideways, that are surrounding the globe, and then longitudes are the ones that go from the top to bottom.
Okay. Latitudes refers to angular distances.
Can we write this system?
Yeah.
We have to write it.
It's okay. David, don't try. Angular distances which are drawn north and south of the equator. Okay, let me draw a picture. Just assume that this is Earth. Students. So the lines which are drawn north to south and the lines that are drawn west to east or east to west are two different lines. The lines which are drawn north to south, these lines are called longitudes. These lines are called latitudes. Or we call this parallels. Where are this one? Meridians and parallels. So here, as I have said, latitudes are angular distances which are drawn north and south of the equator. This is equator, 0 degree. It divides the Earth into two. Here is, can you see this picture? This line, please.
Yeah.
This line bisects the Earth into two. We call this line the equator. So the area which is north of the equator is called northern hemisphere. The area which is found south of the equator is called south hemisphere. So these all areas to the north of the equator called northern hemisphere. This one is called southern hemisphere. Are you together, students?
No.
Okay. So northern hemisphere refers to the areas north of the equator. Southern hemisphere refers to areas south to the equator. south to the equator. So the Earth is bisected imaginary. It's imaginary actually. In actual way, there is no bisected. Rather, it's the spherical. So the Earth is bisected by the equator into two. It forms the northern and the southern hemisphere. So the line that bisects the Earth into two is referred or is called the equator. It's called the equator. So in the previous lesson, if you remember, Africa is the second largest. At the same time, also, and also the prime meridian and the equator pass through Africa. Here is the prime meridian that bisects Africa, and also that pass through Africa, and also here the equator pass through Africa. Okay, let's discuss about another lines. Here 23.5 degree north and 23.5 degree south. This line is called Tocantins. What we call this line? Okay. This line is called Tropic of Cancer. What we call this one? The line which is found in the south. Okay, I'll give you. Okay.
I think the tropical capital.
Yeah, this one is called Tropic of Capricorn. And this line that bisects the Earth from north to south is called prime meridian of India.
Why is it called the Tropic of Cancer? Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, these lines are called tropical Cancer and tropical Capricorn because of the zodiac signs. Because of the zodiac sign. Do you know what your zodiac sign?
Yeah.
What?
I'm a Virgo.
Yes.
I'm a Virgo.
Okay, Virgo. Okay, that's great. Okay, so tropical Cancer and tropical Capricorn. The other thing here, students, there are other lines that are found in the globe, or there are another imaginary lines. Here 66.5 degree north and 66.5 degree south, and also here 90 degree. Here 90 degree. What do you call 90 degrees south and north? What do you call 90 degrees south and north? What do you call?
Could you say that again?
What we call the points here? That's 90 degrees north, south, and north. Okay, Nima. Yeah, we call this pole. This is a pole. This is a pole. So what we call 66 degree and have south. The south, 66 degrees south. What do you call this?
But that's the street. So the line in like the no. No, okay, so the latitudes are the ones that go from the top to bottom, not side to side.
The latitudes are parallels that are drawn from east to west or west to east. They are angular distances from the equator. They are angular distances to the south and north of the equator.
So then what's the longitude?
The longitudes are the lines that are drawn from north to south, or they are angular distances to the west or to the east of the prime meridian. It's clear right now.
Yeah.
So what do we call this line? 66 and a half? Yes. After a while. Okay, what do we call? This is 66 and a half degrees is called Arctic circle. And this one is Antarctic circle. So these are the major lines that are found in the globe, or we can say that we can find these lines in a map. They are imaginary lines, masked up. Okay. So there are some places that you must know: the low latitudes or tropics. The area between 23 and half north and 23 and half south is called the low latitude. The low latitude. The low latitude or tropics. We call this one tropics. Here. Okay. The area between these two lines, the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. We call these two lines, 23 and half south and north, the tropics or the low latitude area. What makes this place spectacular is that there is overhead sun throughout the year. It means that it's almost 12-hour daytime and 12-hour nighttime. When we go to the pole, sometimes it's 6 months dark and 6 months daytime at the pole, just at the pole. And when you go out, sometimes it becomes 18-hour daytime and 6-hour nighttime. Or in the reverse here in the south, it becomes 18-hour nighttime and 6-hour daytime. It's due to solstice. Are you together, students? Yeah. Is it clear? Okay. The other thing is 23 and half north and 66 degree and half north and 23 and half south and 66 degree and half south, which is between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle, and between the Tropic of Capricorn and the what do we call it? The Antarctic Circle. We call this place high middle latitude areas. Middle latitude areas. Is it clear, students?
Yes.
Here, let me show you on the globe. The place between the Tropic of Capricorn here and the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle, and here in the south between the place of Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle is called the middle latitude. Let me repeat it, students. The areas between the Tropic of Cancer and the Antarctic Circle, and the areas between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Arctic Circle. We call it middle latitude. It's named middle latitude. Middle latitude. And the other thing that you must know is that the area between 66 degrees and half south and north has its own. What do we call it?
Which?
The areas between 66 degrees north and south and 90 degrees north and south. The area between 66 and half degree north and south and 90 degree north and south, or in other words, okay. Okay. Okay, students. Okay, students. Anyone who is volunteer to answer? Answer. Anyone who wants to answer? Okay. What do we call the area between 66 degrees and half north and south and 90 degrees north and south? What do we call these places? High latitude, middle latitudes, low latitudes. We call those places high latitude. High latitudes. So these are the three places that are divided in the earth. So we do have low latitudes, middle latitudes, and
Low latitude.
high latitudes. Low, middle, and high latitudes. The low latitude is called tropics. There is overheat sun throughout the year, from September to August, or from June to June, from July to July. Throughout the year, there is overheat sun. In Africa, for example, around the tropics, there is overheat sun throughout the year. This is what makes us peculiar. الكرد أرجعها كنت شافونها. أوكي لنا متوار. إيش؟ Latitudes, longitudes. Because I want to tell me those the points at 3 and half, the point at 90, the point 66 and half, everything. Do you know them?
First, latitude, longitudes, tropic.
Wait. Okay. So what are the lines?
Latitude, longitude, tropic of Cancer, tropic of Capricorn, the North Pole, South Pole, the Arctic Circle.
Okay, excellent. Who can tell us those coordinates with the place that we found them? Okay, come on. Yeah. Just to summarize our today's lesson, listen up, students. Just to summarize our today's lesson, the thing that we are rendered was about imaginary lines. Those two imaginary lines are latitudes and longitudes. As I have said, latitudes are drawn east to south, or they are imaginary lines that are drawn from or angular distance from north to south from the equator. From the equator. Here 0 degree we call it tropic equator. Equator. And what do you call this line? Tropical Cancer. And we call this line Capricorn. And this one, what do you call this one? Arctic Circle. This one, Antarctic Circle. And this one is southern and northern pole. Here 66.5 degree north, Antarctic Circle is 66 and north. Tropical Cancer is 23.5 degree south, and the other one is Tropical Capricorn is 23.5 degree south. These are the points that we are learning today. They help us to know which place is the hottest or which place is not. And the other one is longitudes. Longitudes that help us to calculate time. So by next time we will learn about local mean time. Local mean time. Okay, question.
The